When I was younger, my best friend once told me his dad beat Super Mario World in under an hour by just flying over every level with a cape. I hadn't played the game yet at that point and didn't own an SNES yet either, but I still told my friend I thought he was lying because what he was saying was absolutely ridiculous. And what he was saying was most definitely not true. You absolutely cannot fly over every level because there are several types of levels where flying is just impossible. Underwater levels are probably the most obvious, but underground levels are set up in a way where you can't fly over them. Ghost houses usually have multiple rooms, so there's no flying over them either. Castles and fortresses are also usually set up in a way where flying is not an option. Let's just throw all those types of levels out the window though, and say my friend wasn't including those level types, even though I'm sure he was, and see just how many other levels you can fly over. Is it even possible to fly over all of the remaining eligible levels? Let's find out. There's actually another problem though when it comes to flying over the levels in the first world. The cape power-up doesn't even appear in the first world at all, and only first appears in the first level of World 2. So yeah, we're going to have to throw out all the levels in World 1 as well. You can actually fly over all the levels in World 1 though, with the exception of the castle at the end of the world, in case you were wondering. You can actually fly over all the eligible normal levels in World 2 pretty easily, which makes sense since that's the world where you're first introduced to the cape. There's also the secret level called Donut Secret 2, which you wouldn't even bother with if you were trying to beat the game quickly. We're looking at it anyway for the purposes of this video. You absolutely can fly over this level as well. Even though it may look like these pipes are in the way, you can actually fly over them if you go high enough. There's actually only one level in World 3 that's eligible for this video, which is Vanilla Dome 4, and you can very easily fly over it. I'm not even sure why this level is even here though, since the Vanilla Dome is supposed to be a cave and it's an outdoor level. But that's beside the point. The point is you can fly over it without any problems. There's also 2 Vanilla Dome secret levels that are eligible for this video, both of which you can easily fly over, and both of which are also technically part of the next world. Speaking of the next world, let's take a look at the secret top path. Butterbridge 1 is a side-scrolling type of level, and that's where we run into our first problem. This level scrolls in a very weird way, where the scrolling stops at one point, then starts again, which is very hard to adjust to. Then the screen will start to scroll up instead of to the side. It feels almost impossible to fly through this level with a cape. Luckily there's also the bottom path we can use instead. In case you're wondering, yes, you can fly over Butterbridge 2 very easily, even though we won't be going that way. The 2 levels on the bottom path, the Cheese Bridge area, and Cookie Mountain, can both be flown over without any real problems, so it's on to the next world. Next up is World 5, the Forest of Illusion, and this is where we run into yet another problem. You can technically fly over all the eligible levels in this world. The only problem is you want to advance to the next level if you do that. All these levels involve finding secret exits in order to get the next level to appear, so once again we have to throw out all of these levels. In case you haven't noticed, I'm really being generous to the guy that was my friend way back then, and I'm really giving him the benefit of the doubt by throwing so many levels out. There's also the forest secret area in this world, which can easily be flown over. Also, just let me say, I know you can find secret areas in some stages to get to Star Road, and then find the exits in some of the Star Road stages to warp straight to the final level of the game, but we're not going to consider any of that for this video, since my friend said his dad just flew over everything. Now let's head on to the next world. As for the next world, Chocolate Island 1 can be flown over without any real problems. It's Chocolate Island 2 where the problems begin. This level is divided into sections that end with you having to go through a pipe at the end of one section to get to the next one, making it impossible to just fly over the whole thing. It is technically possible though, to fly over each individual section, so I guess I'll still count it and say you can fly over it. Chocolate Island 3 has 2 massive pipes that you must fly over, and you have to get really high in the air to get past them. It's doable though. The final eligible level, Chocolate Island 5, is pretty easy to fly over, although I do want to point out that if you fly over it, you go past this random assortment of different colored Koopa shells. I'm not really sure why that's there or what the point of it is, it's just an odd thing I noticed. We finally made it to the final world, where there's actually only one final eligible level, Valley of Bowser 3. And this level is a crazy difficult one to fly over. At first I thought it was impossible to fly over this level, since you can't fly over this pipe. but you can actually fly under this pipe to get past it. It's just extremely difficult to do. You'll eventually run into a section of the level blocking your way though. Although I guess it is possible to land quickly here, and then fly through the rest of the stage. So I guess I'm going to have to count it. Although I don't believe for a minute my friend's dad did this. So yes, it is technically possible to fly over every level. Well, at least if you throw a bunch of levels out where flying isn't really possible, and make a few small exceptions like I did. So do I believe my friend's dad did all this? Absolutely not. I've had to throw out so many levels, and I'm also supposed to believe he made it through every water level, every underground level, every ghost house, and every castle, and still have the cape power up at the end of all of them to use in the next level? Nope, I'm not believing any of that. I bet you thought that was the end of the video. Nope, there's still more, so don't click off yet. This video is all about seeing which levels you can fly over, and there's still the Star Road stages and the special stages we still need to check out. It's impossible to fly over Star World 1 and Star World 2, so I won't be looking at them. I'm sure it's probably possible to fly over Star World 3, but it's completely pointless to even try considering you can literally just walk the end of it in a few seconds. Star World 4 can easily be flown over without any problems. Star World 5 can also pretty easily be flown over, although you'll eventually come across these stones at the top of the screen and be forced to run across them before flying again. But that's not enough of an issue for me to say flying over the level is not possible. Finally, we're going to check out the levels in the special zone and see just how many of those levels it's possible to fly over. It's pretty much impossible to fly over the first level, Gnarly, since you start the level by having to go up rather than to the right. So right off the bat we have a level that the cape is useless in. The second level, Tubular, just doesn't even have enough room for you to gain enough speed to fly into the air and use the cape, so that's another level you can't fly over. The third level, Way Cool, can be flown over with pretty much no problems whatsoever. Level number 4, which is named Awesome, is where things get really tricky. No matter what I did, I couldn't fly any higher once I got below this pipe near the start of the level. And no, you can't fly over it this time like you can in most other levels. I'm not willing to say it's impossible to get past this area though. I feel like maybe someone who is possibly the world's best at using the cape can make it through. That's just not me. I was able to fly through the rest of the level though, although it took me many tries and a lot of luck. The Cheep Cheeps at the end are especially difficult to avoid. The next level, Groovy, is interesting because the level actually throws you by placing off-screen blocks at the top of the level, making it impossible to keep flying if you hit them. It is possible to fly over this level though, once you memorize where those blocks are. The final 3 levels, Mondo, Outrageous, and Funky, can all be flown over with pretty much no problems, although there is 2 pipes in Funky where you need to be flying very high in the air in order to get past them. It's pretty surprising that you can just fly over the game's final level. So there you have it. You can actually fly over most, but not all, of the levels in Super Mario World after eliminating all the levels where flying with the cape is not really possible. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like. It helps out a ton when it comes to videos like this getting pushed out to more people. With that said, I'll see everyone in the next video.